Hello, and welcome to the Smile Revolution. We raise awareness to the healing power of a genuine smile. And let's see, this is show 197 since 2020. But I'm a former radio show host, and so for the Smile Revolution, which started in 2005. And I'm a comedic storyteller, hat maker, singer, creator of the Smile Revolution, obviously, founder of, and also created Hat Happenings. And what else do? I do them in senior homes and in my one-woman show, Princess Wow and Woodstock, which is on hiatus right this minute. But I've gotten back to my interview shows, which were on hiatus. Hi, Nancy. Thanks for coming live. I appreciate it. And so anyway, I'm really excited about this show tonight. There are two different interviews. I aired one November 2024 it's at the after party. Richard Barone actually wrote this book, Music Plus Revolution, Greenwich Village in the 1960s. It's a must read. It's a textbook. It's actually in college courses, music college courses, and it's so good. I learned so much from Richard, and he's a dear friend of mine. Anyway, he invited me to the after party, and that's how I met Tom Paxton. Well, actually, I had interviewed Terry Thal before, Bob Dylan's first manager, if you've been watching my series, my Bob Dylan series. And so she promoted me at the party. So that's how I got in with Tom Paxton. And just so you all know, he's retired as of a few months ago at 87. So I didn't want to call him and do a new interview because he's retired. So anyway, and then I just want to share something before I bring my interviews on. Oh, and this is my new doll. If you haven't watched my shows recently from London, I'm calling her Sparkle Queen. She wanted to come on the show tonight. Anyway, John Lee Bird created her in London. And she's getting a ukulele soon, so I'm really excited. So I'll be in London soon. He's making it for me. So I'm excited about that. Okay, so anyway, I was watching a show last night. I was having kind of like an upsetting day yesterday, and all of a sudden, what popped on my TV was the CBS morning segment called Kindness 101. And yes, yeah, Sparkle Queen. Well, actually, Laura Molitor gave me the name Sparkle Queen, but I already have Princess Wow, so I decided to give it to her, even though I have other dolls, but she is getting that name. So anyway, Steve Hartman has a segment called Kindness 101 with his two children, and it's like really amazing. It's like they pick a different topic every week, from optimism, compassion, all different qualities. And so I just want to share really quick, and then I'll start the interview and give my bio on Tom. So this little 4-year-old boy found out that there was homeless people in the world. And so his father got him a cloak, Superman outfit or something. And so he said, every week I want to go around and feed the homeless. So he made sandwiches, or his father, whatever, parents made the sandwiches, and he would go around, and he still does it actually. This is like years ago, but he's still doing it. He would go around in his cape and give homeless people sandwiches, and he would say, something like, he had one slogan about keep bringing love or something. And it was so like heartwarming. And then there's other stories, and it was so amazing. It really totally uplifted me. And I'm like, now I want to go help feed the homeless too. And so anyway, it was just really good. I just want to share that. It's called CBS Mornings Kindness 101. It's a segment. So anyway, okay. So it just really got me out of whatever funk I was in yesterday. So anyway, Tom Paxton has become a voice of his generation, addressing issues of injustice, and inhumanity, laying bare the absurdities of modern culture, which we're still dealing with, and celebrating the tenderest bonds of family, friends, and community. And it's very long, his bio, but he's performed thousands of concerts around the world in countries such as Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Hong Kong, Scandinavia, France, Italy. He's been all over. But he did receive a 2009 Lifetime Achievement Award from the Recording Academy during the 51st Annual Grammy Awards. He was nominated for a Grammy for Comedians and Angels in 2007 and Live in the UK in 2006. He was also nominated for Grammys in 2003 for his Appleseed recording CD, Looking for the Moon, and in 2002 for his children's CD, Your Shoes, My Shoes. He has received the Lifetime Achievement Award from ASCAP and a Lifetime Achievement Award from BBC in London. So, I mean, it goes on and on and on. So anyway, but I just wanted to share that a little bit. Oh, thank you. Oh, thanks a lot. Thank you. So anyway, here we go. Here is Tom.
Hello.
It's good to meet you tonight.
It's first time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, you're Tom Paxton, a legendary folk singer. I know. I read Richard Brown's
That's
book.
almost an oxymoron.
I know. Okay, well, anyway, you're a folk singer.
Yes.
From the 60s, like
Yes.
you started out in the 60s.
I started to be nice and neat. I started out in 1960.
You did, in the Village.
Yeah.
And you knew Terry Tall.
I'm just about 2 blocks from here.
Do you live here now?
No, I started.
Oh, you started 2 blocks.
The Gaslight was about 2 blocks from where we're sitting right now.
I know, so that's where you started?
Yeah.
And you were friends with Terry Tall and Dave Van Ronk, right?
Oh, yes.
You were at their house a lot?
Dave Van Ronk was my best man when I got married.
Wow.
And I was his best man when he married Terry.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, so were you at their place a lot? You're probably hanging out. I just interviewed her recently, so I know all about her, and I read her book. So you all were at, so who else? So you were friends with Bob Dylan then?
Yes. We were friendly.
Friendly.
We weren't friends the way I was friends with Dave.
So you're really good friends with Dave Van Ronk.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously at their wedding. I mean,
Yeah,
you were okay.
best friends.
Best friend, okay.
But I knew Bob very well then, as much as one can know Bob. You never really know Bob.
Yeah.
But I liked him, and I think he liked me.
You knew him before he became famous,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You knew him back in the early, when he first...
I met him just a few blocks from here. There used to be a place called Gertie's that had Folk City. And
I was just talking to Bob.
Monday nights were hoot nights. And that's where we heard Bob for the first time.
Okay, so that's great.
And Dave and I were sitting together, and Bob sang, you sang 3 songs and no encores. And he sang 3 Woody Guthrie songs, and very well. And so we bought him a beer and we became friends.
And so you were friends with, let's see, who else? Who else were you good friends with back then?
Well, lots of people, really. Len Chandler, you probably don't know that name.
I
but
do. No, I read Richard Brown's book.
Yeah, he was a good
I know
friend.
he was in the book.
And Phil Oakes.
I thought so. You were friends with Phil
We were
Oakes.
great friends.
It's a shame about his mental.
Yeah.
I know. It's a shame. I saw the documentary about him.
I think you're going to find the soundtrack is going to be amazing on this thing.
What, tonight?
No, right now.
Well, we're okay because I got the microphones.
That's
on.
good.
Because we wouldn't be able to do with that because it's so loud here.
Right.
But we're okay with the microphones.
Good.
Yeah, so that's why I brought them.
What is this for, by the way?
Well, I do an interview show.
Oh, okay.
So, and I know, I've interviewed Willie and Terry. Yeah. I have a lot of friends who are musicians and authors
Great.
and doing great things. So I like to highlight people.
It's not that I doubted your...
Oh, no, Terry's
prominence.
vouching for me, yeah. Terry, I just interviewed her recently.
If you're friends with Terry, you're cool with me.
That's what I'm saying, right, exactly, right. Thank you, I appreciate it. So did you enjoy tonight's concert?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Wasn't it great?
It
really,
was.
The whole thing was fantastic.
It was a really nice representation of what there was back then.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that Happy couldn't be with us.
I know. He hasn't been well recently, I heard.
Huh?
He hasn't been feeling well recently.
I know.
I know. Hi, Tom.
Hello there.
It's so good to see you. I'm so grateful that I was at that after party, the Music Plus Revolution.
That was fine. That was fun. We got rousted by the management for making too much noise.
Oh, you're right.
Imagine imagine a bunch of old farts making too much noise.
Right. But we're not going to say where it is. It's like top secret.
Oh yeah,
Right. It's like it was at a hotel.
an
Right.
undisclosed location.
Exactly. Right. I'm not saying a word. So anyway, but it was so good to see everybody. Not that everybody came. I was kind of disappointed. I wish more of the musicians came, but I guess they were tired. I don't know.
Oh, it was late.
It was late. It was late. Exactly.
Hey, if I hadn't been staying there, I wouldn't have been at the party either.
We're not saying where that was. I was staying there too. I was staying there too.
Yep.
I know. It was a nice place, the undisclosed place.
But we're not going to tell what it was.
Yeah, but it was really nice, right?
Sure.
Yeah, it was very beautiful. So anyway, and then Terry, I'm going to thank Terry Thal because she introduced us.
She did.
She did a big promotion for me.
Yeah.
And with Carolyn Hester, which I'm going to get a hold of her too.
Yeah.
Because she was running at the door. But anyway, I did get some interviews and it was really great. And anyway, so and I want to thank Richard Barone because Richard is one who introduced me, and
he did the whole thing.
He did. Didn't he do such a great job?
He did a great job. Yes, he did.
He's an amazing guy. I mean, he does so much, and it's like to put that concert together, right? It was so great.
I had never seen that hall.
I hadn't either.
But boy, that's a beautiful little concert hall there.
What is Zankel Hall?
Yeah, yeah.
But they have 3 halls at Carnegie Hall, right?
Who knew?
I didn't know either.
Yeah.
It was really lovely. And we were in the front row, so it was like really amazing. It was great. I got the tickets within that first hour. And anyway, and then so you won the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 2009.
Yes, I did.
That's amazing. Congratulations. That is incredible.
I'm still gobsmacked by that one.
I mean, that's amazing.
Yes, it is.
I mean, really, that's such an honor.
Oh.
Well, you're very humble, though, because I said you're legendary. You're like, I know. But the point is that is huge that you got.
I'm a rumor.
You're a rumor. Okay. Well, anyway.
A rumor in my own time.
Okay. Well, anyway, I just want to say, I make hats. That's one of the things I do. I'm a woman of many hats, but I do make hats. And you're not wearing your cap today.
No.
It's
in the other room. Yeah. Why? You want me to go put my cap on?
Do you mind?
No. Hang on.
I mean, we've got to be hatted here. Okay.
Here we go.
Okay. Oh, that's much better.
You didn't like my bald head.
Well, I'm hat designer. I can't help it. I'm like hatted.
You're half hat conscious.
Right.
All right.
So it's like this is your look.
Yep.
Right.
Without the cap, I'm incognito.
Exactly. Right. Okay. So anyway, I feel better now. So anyway, you and I have a mutual friend in common.
Who's that?
Pete Seeger.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
God bless him.
I know, right?
I don't know if he would like it put quite that way, but I noticed, Pete was studiously irreligious or non-religious. Not irreligious, but
he was very
non-religious.
spiritual, though. He was very spiritual.
He certainly was, and he used the term far more often than he realized he was doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he lived it. I mean, he just lived it.
Sure he did.
I mean, being with him was like a spiritual experience. Just talking and being in his presence.
Yep.
right. You know what I'm saying. So
He walked the walk.
right. So anyway, and I know I saw you were on his show in 1965 on his TV
Yes.
show. I watched that yesterday. That was so great. It was really great to see that. Oh, he was so into like, well, he was amazing, but on the show, and then you two sang Rambling Boy together. That was so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Oh boy, I still remember the first time I heard the tapes from the "We Shall Overcome" album, and I used to tell audiences that I played the part over and over. That said, well, "Here's a young fella from Oklahoma,
Right.
young fella." That's
Oh, is that what Pete said? You're a young fella,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
young fella from Oklahoma. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's funny. I was watching one of your interviews. And you kept saying OU. That you went to college at OU, and
Yeah.
well, guess what? I went to OU, but not Oklahoma U. I went to Ohio U.
In Athens.
In Athens, and that's OU.
Yeah.
And you kept saying OU, and I'm like,
Oh,
is it
you.
the same college? And then I
Yeah.
realized, no, Oklahoma U.
Yeah, I did a television broadcast from Athens one time. And as a matter of fact, I remember it was 1980 because after the broadcast, we had pizza and we were going to watch the election returns, and they came on, and it was Reagan. Period. There was no incremental growth. It was just an absolute avalanche.
Hmm.
That's,
You started writing songs.
yeah,
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
the Gipper.
Oh gosh.
Jesus.
So anyway, so let's see. Okay, so Burl Ives, he was like the first inspiration to you, right? With his music.
He was, yeah. I learned a lot of songs from his recordings and his. I still have his paperback songbook here in the house upstairs. I'm afraid to open it. I'm sure it'll just crumble out.
Right. Yeah.
But I learned many songs from that songbook,
and then yeah.
He was a great singer. Great singer.
And then you were studying acting in college.
Yes. Well, I tell everybody that I started out wanting to be an actor, but in the end, I compromised and settled for the security of folk music.
Right, right. Oh God, that's funny. Well, you did well. You've done well.
Yes, thank you.
And with your, your publisher, you've had your publisher for like over 50 years, right?
Yep.
Which is amazing.
His name was Milt Oken,
mm-hmm.
and I signed with him in 1960, and I was the first signee for Cherry Lane Music, and I remained with him for 50 years until he sold his company to a larger company, and I stayed there.
And you've done well with other musicians covering your.
Oh yeah, I've been so blessed there. I mean,
that's amazing.
Good Lord, I saw someone showed me. I guess it was a Wikipedia page about my song, "The Last Thing on My Mind," and it's been covered by a couple hundred artists and some very, very big artists.
That's great. Wow.
Yeah. Oh boy, is it ever. It gave me just that financial
stability.
Yeah.
Right. That's wonderful, because I know you have a family, and it's like,
sure.
Right. So that's great. So everything's been really working out well for you. I'm so happy. That's great.
Well, I'm blessed.
I know you are. And so are you still, I know when you started writing songs in college, right?
I did, and boy, were they some stinkers.
Yeah.
Oh my God, my first songs. As a matter of fact, in '95, I put out a songbook that had some 80 songs in it. And then I wrote pretty lengthy introduction, kind of autobiographical sketch. And in it, I printed the lyric of my first song.
Oh, wow.
And I got a typeface that was like from a typewriter. So it wasn't the original copy. That's long since been lost. Uh, and no great loss at that.
Right.
But I printed that in my introduction because as I said at the time, I wanted people to see this so that they would realize that, my God, if he could write this
Right.
and then go on and write some decent
Right.
stuff,
Yeah, right.
there's hope for me.
Right. You're inspiring other people.
Because
That's wonderful.
it was awful. I mean,
Right.
it's a terrible song.
Now that's good. That is inspiring to other people. I know you do
Yeah.
teach too. You do songwriting workshops, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, that's really neat that you did that. That you do that to inspire the younger
I
generation.
love the workshops. I love teaching.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's not so much teaching, I think, as it is coaching.
Yeah.
As my old friend Bob Gibson used to say, you can't steer a sailboat until it's moving.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you really want is something that's on paper, an attempt has been made, and you can begin to work with that and improve that.
Now that's
Until
great.
until the songwriter, I get it, and they go on and start writing their own songs all the way. And
Now that's really great. Yeah.
I also love co-writing. I co-write with a bunch of different people now. Kathy Fink is one of them.
Who lived down the street from me as a child. It is fun, isn't it?
We write every Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock.
Really?
And every Monday at 2 o'clock, I write with John McCutcheon. And
you mean on Zoom? Or are you together in person or on Zoom?
Zoom.
On Zoom? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the COVID actually started a whole new career.
I know,
for me,
which is really great. Yeah.
I wasn't doing much of any co-writing, but now during the pandemic, I think I co-wrote some 300 songs.
Wow. Oh, that's
Yeah.
so cool. Oh, that's really
Tremendous number of songs. I wrote with these two young women from Michigan, the Accidentals. They are wild. And also Buffalo Rose, a group from Pittsburgh, who are really going places. So there I am writing with people. I mean, I could be their grandfather, but
well, that's
but
great. Oh, that's wonderful.
we connect right away, and I just exchanged emails with Katie Larson from the Accidentals, that I had just seen a new, or at least was new to me, thing on YouTube, a little singing a song, and Sav had, her partner Sav had this wonderful haircut with all the way across on one side and shaved on the other, and
right.
and I said that I was thinking of adapting that haircut myself.
Okay. With your hat, of course.
Yeah.
You have to have your hat.
Like it may leak down from under the cap, perhaps.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That sounds so neat. Please tell Marcy I said hello. It's Mindy Fradkin.
Yes.
And she'll remember her sister. I was friends with her sister.
Mindy, I can't think of anybody knowing you and forgetting you.
You know what? It's like, I don't see people for 20, 30, 40 years. I don't know. Everybody does remember me. I don't know. It's like, I am, I guess, kind of unusual.
Yep.
I know. I guess I am, because everybody remembers me from like a decade.
I think that's it.
I stand out. Huh? I guess so. It
Yeah,
seems to be that way.
it is.
Yeah. Thank you. So
Trust,
anyway, so
trust
you,
me.
huh?
Trust me.
Okay, I do. So okay, so let's talk a little since we just did, you just were performing at Music Plus Revolution. And have you read Richard Barone's book?
No,
Oh my God, Tom, you got to read his book.
I didn't know he had one.
Oh, so okay, so this is good we're talking. The
Yes.
concert was based on his book.
Aha.
You're all over the book. You need a copy.
I need a copy.
You're all over the book.
Well, to
So
think he didn't give me a copy.
I'll talk to Richard. I'll let him know. You can tell him, or I'll talk to him.
All
So
right.
anyway, okay, listen. This book it's incredible. It's all about it's called Music Plus Revolution, music from the 60s, Greenwich Village. It's all about the 60s. So anyway, so you're in it all in a lot of places. And in the back it says Tom Paxton, all the pages you're in. So I looked it up. Yeah. So yeah, so he did this to promote his book and then to do the songs and the people from that, from that summer, you from the era and Terry Thal, and
Yeah.
so that's it. So the book is like absolutely amazing. He wrote it during the pandemic because he had time. Like normally he wouldn't have been able to do it.
Right.
So that's what he did. And then remember he did interview you during the pandemic. Remember Richard Barone?
You know what? I don't remember.
All right, so he did because he says when I was talking to Tom, blah blah blah. So he was interviewing people all during the pandemic, and you're one of them.
Yeah.
So it was for
Okay.
maybe you didn't realize it was for his book.
Yeah.
So I'm just telling you. So you need to get. It's really amazing book.
Wow.
Yeah.
To me, the amazing book was Mayor of McDougal Street.
I have to read that. I have to read now, and that's
Oh my
about Dave
God.
Van Ronk. That's about
Yeah.
Dave Van Ronk, right?
It's written by Dave Van Ronk.
Oh, it's written by him. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I got to read it.
It's a terrific book. It really is.
And you
And
were
also-
very
al-
good friends. You were very
also-
good friends. Mhm.
Oh, he was my best man when I got married.
I know that's amazing. And you were his best man when he married Terry.
That's right.
Okay.
And also, Death of a Rebel about Phil Oakes was a great book as well.
Okay, that I haven't read either. I know I have to read that
Yeah,
too.
Mark Elliott wrote that book. He was at Carnegie Hall.
I know. And
Yeah.
he's written so many books, but he was friends with Phil Oakes.
It's a wonderful book.
Okay. All right, 2 more books I have to read. Yeah, definitely. Okay, great. Okay, so I did read something about when Pete was blacklisted. It said, I think it was even in Richard's book, that when you were basically like keeping his type of music, like his sound going, keeping it alive when Pete was blacklisted, right?
It's not quite right.
All right, explain to me because I thought
Dad,
that's bad. Okay.
the blacklist ended pretty much. Well, for the Weavers, it ended in '56 when they did the Carnegie Hall concerts.
Right.
And then there was, when the Hootenanny show was on television, Pete was being blacklisted off of that show, and a bunch of us started a boycott. Not that we had been asked to be on the show, but the boycott was, were we to be asked, we would not do it.
Mm-hmm.
And some people like Joan Baez went so far as to say she didn't want to do the show, but she would do it if Pete were on the same one she was on. And Peter Paul said the same. Other people did the show, and there were no real hard feelings about it. But I was one of the people who organized the boycott.
Oh, okay.
And it was after one of those meetings that we had, Pete came and addressed us, and being Pete, he suggested that we not boycott, that we support the show, that it was getting folk music out to people who hadn't heard it.
Mm-hmm.
And we said, thanks, Pete. we're still going to do it.
Okay.
And it was after one of those meetings that I got up my nerve. This was in '63,
Oh. Uh-huh.
and I went up to Pete and said, "Could I sing you a song that I just wrote?" And it was "Ramblin' Boy."
Oh, wow.
And it was only a couple of weeks later that Pete sang it with the Weavers at Carnegie Hall to do a reunion recording. And a little sidebar to that was that he learned it very quickly, and he got the chorus slightly wrong. He sang "Fare thee well, my rambling boy," instead of "Here's to you, my rambling boy."
Oh.
Well, big deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
As far as I was concerned, he was singing my song. Well, right after that Carnegie Hall that was recorded, Pete took his family on a sabbatical for a year, and he went around the world.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then the album came out while he was in India, and I got a postcard from I think it was Calcutta, and he signed it with the little banjo drawing that he always
Right.
used.
Yes.
And said, "Dear Tom, oops, Pete."
You said what?
Oops. O-O-P.
Oops. Oops.
Yeah, oops,
Oops.
Pete.
Okay.
And then I could tell then for years when Pete had learned the song, when people had learned the song from Pete, because he sang "May all your rambles bring you joy" instead of "ramblin'." Okay?
Oh, okay.
So I would be singing it with people, and I would hear that aspirate, rambles. I said,
Oh,
"Oh, Pete's been here."
right. Oh gosh. Oh,
Yeah.
that's funny. Oh God.
Oh, I loved the man. I loved him.
I know. Very, very unique, original. Just you can't explain it unless you've been around him. I mean, you can hear people, when you're interviewing, people are interviewing him, but yeah, life changing being around him.
Well, I remember 1966 at Newport. Pete was on in the afternoon, and that was the first time that he sang, "If you love your Uncle Sam, bring them home, bring them home.
Yeah.
Support our boys in Vietnam, bring them
Right.
home, bring
Yeah.
them." And he also, in that same set, he also introduced "Waist Deep in the Big Muddy."
Okay.
Wow.
I know. So wow. Yeah. So anyway, so you also were in the Village. You hung out with Phil Oakes
Yep.
and Bob Dylan
Yep.
and Dave Von Ronk. It was like a whole group of you, right?
It was a wonderful mixture of guys, and there was a lot of camaraderie. Of course, there was competition. That comes with the territory,
Right.
but it was very collegial, very supportive.
That's what Terry Hill said. You all were very like a family of artists.
Yeah. Well, we would always sing our songs for one another when they were new,
right?
To get reaction, to get some criticism, and the one that I loved doing that with was Phil. Phil was great at listening and then giving us very frank opinions. He was not an easy lay. Phil was. He was he'd listen and he'd listen carefully.
Okay.
And I remember once in the Kettle of Fish bar next to the Gaslight, we were crammed around a table, and the other side of the table was involved in some argument, and I was sitting next to Bob, and he said, "What do you think of this?" And so he sang right into my ear. He sang this song. Yeah. He says, "What do you think?" And it was a song called "Gates of Eden."
Wow.
And I said, "I think that's a great song. That's a great song." And I could hear it, and I came into the little room that we had upstairs at the Gaslight, and he was just pulling some pages out of the typewriter. And I said, "What you been writing?" He said, "Well, I got this new thing. What do you think?" And he gave it to me. It was about 4 typed pages long, 5. And I read, scanned it very quickly. And I said, "This is great. This is Lord Randall in 1962, the old ballad, where have you been all the day, Randall, my son?" And it turned out it was a hard rain's going to fall.
Wow, that's
And
amazing.
he said, what do you think I should do with this? And I said, "Well, you could send this to some quarterly and they'd give you $25 or something to run it, or you could put a tune to it." And he said, "I think that's what I'll do." And a couple nights later, he got up at the Gaslight and sang it for the first time.
Oh,
Yeah, couple years ago, apparently, every 5 years on his birthday,
uh-huh.
they have concerts around the world, and I was asked to be part of one in Maryland. And I
Hmm.
said, "Sure, glad to." And I sang One Too Many Mornings and Tomorrow's a Long Time and A Hard Rain's Gonna Fall.
Wow.
And I had like 4 music stands set up side by side to hold the goddamn lyric,
Uh-huh.
and, and what was I going to do? Memorize that thing? I don't think
Oh,
so.
oh God.
But let
Uh-huh.
me tell you, that song is such fun to sing. It really is. It's a
And,
great song.
and do
Yeah.
you tell the story that you heard it for the
Yeah.
first time? You thought, yeah.
But now, when it gets into like the 5th or 6th minute, 8th minute, 9th minute, I think, what was I thinking?
Hmm. I didn't realize it was that long.
Oh, it's long. It's a long song.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you take a break halfway through and have a sandwich. And then
That's amazing. I had no idea. I had no idea it was that long. So anyway, but what was he like? What was he like to be with? I mean, he was very, you said you really couldn't get that close with him though. That's what you said at the party.
yeah, he was a lot of fun to be with.
Oh, he was?
He had a great sense of humor.
Oh.
I mean, he's a very bright guy. Um, and so he was fun to hang out with because he was part of the conversation, and
Mm-hmm.
he would take it off on weird tangents, and it was a lot of fun to be around him, I thought.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay, cool. And then what was Dave Van Ronk like?
Oh, Dave Van Ronk was like no one else in history.
Really?
He was perhaps the smartest man I ever knew.
Wow.
Uh, he had read more and remembered more than any man I ever knew.
Wow.
He had a wonderful sense of humor.
Hmm.
To call him irreverent is to understate by half.
Really? Wow.
Oh yeah, he was a brilliant man, and he was a great artist.
Hmm.
I wrote a song for Dave called "The Mayor of McDougal Street," and I love singing that song.
Oh, I have to listen to that. I'm gonna have to
Oh
listen.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And now
dude.
I've got to read his book too, of course.
Yeah, you can get it. You can hear it on Spotify.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, that's really cool.
and
And
the book is fabulous.
okay, I know. I'm really looking forward to this. Yeah, that'll be great. And also knowing Terry Thaw, of course. Now the whole I'm getting into the whole circle with this. That's really
Yeah,
cool. Yeah. And what about Phil Oakes? Now I know that he had a lot of mental. I saw the documentary. I know, like he had a lot of from the family, like on mental stuff. And I know, I
yeah.
know a lot of. I know. But what was he like when you said he was? What was he like when you knew him?
Phil was focused like crazy.
Uh huh.
He was. Um, he was committed. He was serious about doing his work.
Yeah.
Uh, he was a good friend. He was also funny,
Mm-hmm.
um, but a little manic.
Yeah, right. I know.
a little manic, but it didn't bother me at all.
Okay.
I remember once Phil and I we were part of a concert in Baltimore supporting the miners in Hazard, Kentucky. And uh, I happened to look down from my dressing room to the street, and lo and behold, there was a picket line outside our concert. And I ran into Phil. I said, Phil, we're being picketed. He said, come on, let's go. And we ran down there out onto the street, and we were being picketed by the John Birch Society. How's that for a time capsule?
Wow.
Yeah. And we tried to engage them in conversation, but they were like robotic. They just looked right through us and kept marching in there. And I wish we had photographs of that,
Hmm.
of how Tom Paxton and Phil Oakes were whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but
But he
I
was
don't
very
know.
political. Phil was very all about, the Vietnam War and
He
polit-
was.
yeah. And then you said in an interview, I heard you say something like once the Vietnam War was over, he was kind of lost.
I always said, and I was joking when I said it,
Hmm.
because what took him out is what it takes you out. That clinical depression is a killer.
Yeah.
But I would say jocularly, if Phil could have just held on till Ronald Reagan became president,
I know, right. Yeah.
it would have given him a whole new lease on life.
Right.
But of
Yeah.
course,
He
no, it
couldn't
wouldn't.
take it. I know.
No, no. Um, I don't know if they can cure clinical depression like that. But the last time I saw him, he was in bad shape,
Really? Oh, okay.
and then I began hearing that he was doing much better.
Oh,
And that, of course, is that false dawn that so often happens as a suicide seems to be lightened up, and it's really because they've made a decision,
oh,
and
oh,
they're not torn anymore. They know what they're going to do when they do it.
oh, okay.
But I wrote a song about that
Oh,
that
you did?
I
Oh, okay.
I cannot sing. I
You
cannot
can't,
sing.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's just too painful. It's too
Oh
painful.
yeah, it's way too painful.
Yeah. Mm. So anyway, but you've always done a lot of topical. You're topical, and you've done a lot of political songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my model was the Weavers,
Hmm.
and Pete and Woody.
Right.
They, I mean, I write children's songs as well.
Oh, yeah, right. I heard that. Yeah. So you
Yeah,
still.
and I wrote some children's books as well. And so
Oh.
for me, a song idea is a song idea, and I'll know from the beginning that there isn't the price of lunch to be made from this song, but I'll go ahead and write it because that's what they would have done.
Hmm. Right.
Um, that the game, I mean, you do hope to make royalties,
Right. Of course.
but that's over the entirety of your catalog
Right.
of the songs you write. You write the songs to write the songs,
Exactly.
and then if Gott sei Dank
Happen to
they
do well.
they make you a little money, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
But that's not why you wrote them.
Exactly. Right. No, absolutely. I know. Right. So are you still like I know you were like when you first started that you were writing a song a day. Like, do you still write a song a day?
Not a day, no.
Not a day. I mean, that was years ago.
But over the pandemic, I was writing 4 or 5 a week,
Okay.
and I still write 3 or 4 a week because I'm still writing most. The only day I don't write at all is Tuesday. I take that day off.
Oh.
But The other 4 days of the work week, I have writing with different people.
Oh, right. And so now it's all collaborative. Do you write any?
No, I write on my own as well.
Yeah. Okay. But you're doing a lot of collaborations.
A great deal of collaboration. Yep.
Yeah, that's
a lot
great.
of fun.
Yeah, that's how I've written some songs with my Roland, my ex-husband. I call him my husband. My husband. So anyway, so yeah, that's
good.
How I've always done it. It's a collaborative thing. I don't know if I could do it myself, but unless I took classes with you or like a workshop.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm trying to think what else. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about, like to wrap it up?
No, I'm just going to talk about going to have lunch now.
Okay, good. Okay. All right. Well, listen, Tom, I really appreciate
You're very welcome
to be with you and for my audience to hear about you. You're so inspiring, and I'm just so grateful that I met you and that you're such a. I love watching your old videos too, like when you were, when you're sick in the 1960s. How adorable, just like it's so clean, so clean cut and adorable.
Clean cut, yeah.
I mean, so clean cut and adorable.
Sure.
Adorable, just so and amazing just to watch you play with Pete Seeger in the 60s.
Oh,
and
was that fun or what?
Oh, so great.
That
yeah.
The what do you call it when you turn on your computer and there's a picture of something, and in mine it's a picture of me and Pete singing.
It's amazing. I mean, it's so beautiful to see. It really is.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so I really feel honored that we got to meet and that Terry promoted me to you and Carolyn Hester. And so anyway, here we are. So anyway, and I'll be doing that short interview that you and I did at the party on my show tonight. That you'll be on tonight for 4 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thanks so much, Tom. And
you're welcome.
Okay. Have a good lunch.
See you soon.
Okay. Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Anyway, whoever's still watching live, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. And stay tuned for more shows Mondays at 8 o'clock Eastern time and on replay. And good. You're welcome, Nancy. Thanks for watching. And so I'm not sure. I'm doing David Amram soon. We had tech issues last week and the week before, but that's coming soon. I'm not sure next week when I'm doing it. But anyway, stay tuned and thanks for watching live and on replay, and keep smiling and keep sweet. Join the smile revolution. No matter what's going on, there's always good going on, and we have to stay in gratitude as much as possible. So thanks a lot and lots of love. Bye. Okay, wait a second. Wait a second. Hold it 1 second. All right. Okay. It's called the smile revolution that comes, goes round and back to you. So smile, smile.